Hello, everybody. Welcome to or welcome back to Marion K Tarot. If you are new here, I'm a tarot card reader and astrologer based in Scotland, but I have an international clientele thanks to the wonders of the internet. And this is the weekly reading that I put here on YouTube just to check in, just to have a wee look at the energies, etc. etc. So, what we're doing this year is we are every week I am choosing basically a bit of paper that has got one of my many tarot decks on it, and I'm using that deck. So I've already chosen it, and this week we are using the Arcanus Animal Tarot. Okay, and I like this tarot. I get this as a lovely goodie bag gift a couple of years ago at the UK Tarot Conference, and it's a mass market Hay House deck, and it's the only, if there's a downside to it, right, the only thing I would suggest is they're oracle card, like traditional oracle card sized, as opposed to tarot size, so it is a bit difficult to shuffle if you've got smaller hands and you don't have like massive hands like I do. But it's a lovely deck. It's very simple designs. And I really enjoy using it, so I'm really pleased that came out of our TBR jar today. If you're wondering where I got this from a lovely indie business here based in the UK called Luna Cult, and she's fabulous. She makes a whole load of like bookish stuff, and that was where I get the idea for this from. Because like everybody who reads books a lot, you've got a TBR, a to be read list, and I was like, well, let's incorporate that into tarot because we read tarot cards as well. So that's a wee background to why we do this. So let's get into it. I hope you're well, because this week has been intense. This past week, we had the Saturn Neptune conjunction right on 0 degrees of Aries. Now that's like one of the nicest descriptions I've heard that position in the zodiac is like the first breath of the zodiac, because it's the very, very beginning. It's like, it's like ground zero point, it's like there is nothing before that in the zodiac. And for anybody that's got any placements there, hi, my moon's there. It's been pretty intense, and even if you don't, like we're all going to feel it, because we've all got 0 degrees Aries at somewhere in our chart. And you might not have planets there, but you could have like points in there that are bouncing off of there, and just different things that take up that space. So if you've been feeling a bit like what the heck is this, what's going on, what now, really, that could be a part of it. And it's a rare conjunction, only happens every 36 years. So in our lifetimes we probably experience like one, we'll definitely experience one at least, two, sometimes three, just depending, so, but it's a big deal, and it's a kind of it's like a grounding point, it's like Neptune is all about the unseen, the unknown. Neptune is the dreamer's planet, it's very intuition, it's illusion as well, can sometimes be delusion. And Saturn is very much structure. Saturn talks to us about, rules, regulations, institutions, things that have always been, the way things have always been. And when these two planets meet, you often find it can be quite destabilising at the world at large. We have to look at this, Neptune as an outer planet, Saturn is a kind of outer planet, so we need to look at that in context. So it'll have a wider reaching effect, but it will also have a personal effect on all of us, but maybe no right away. It's not like Mercury, or Mars, combusting together or something. It's slower and it takes its time to play out, but a lot of things that have been initiated over this period will, as time goes on, we'll probably be able to date it back to this point in time. So yeah, but it's nothing to worry about. These things are necessary. You know, if we think back to 1989, well, what happened? You know, it was like kind of a, like, if my memory serves me right, it was like the fall of communism and like the USSR and like the fall of the Berlin Wall, that kind of thing. You know, it was all round about that period of time. There was a dismantling of what had always been. So, and if you look at the news, I mean, you don't really need to look too far to see exactly what's been going on. But we're going to look at the energies for Monday, the 23rd of February to Sunday, the 1st of March. Oh my goodness, it is. Oh, where's this year going already? Honestly. So, I've waffled on for nearly 6 minutes without drawing a card, so we better go on with it. Okay, tell me please, energies coming up for this week ahead, what we can look forward to, what we to look out for, how can we empower ourselves. Right, let's go. Okay. Right, energy at the bottom of the deck is, well, here we go, these cards, I've not been able to see them properly, is the Five of Wands, okay? Now, the Five of Wands has been coming out quite regularly for me recently. Excuse me. And what it can signal is this time of conflict, right? The wands are represented by dragons in this deck, you know, because it's fire, right? And I love that. But what it feels like to me is there is so much conflict and combative conflict, you know, with a lot of the Aries energy that's showing up, you know. But what I would suggest is before striking out, right, before maybe saying something, take a moment, you know, just take a breath and just say, right, is this directly affecting me? What can I add to this situation? How can I diffuse this situation? Okay? And just ask yourself these 3 questions before you say anything, and then decide what you want to do. Because sometimes we just need to take a breath and don't be so quick. So quick, you know, with our reactions and our actions. By all means, sometimes it's necessary to move quickly, absolutely, 100%. But oftentimes, not much is lost by just taking a moment. You know, if you've maybe had a potential, you know, if you've maybe had a message, you know, if you've had an email or a text message or some kind of communication for somebody, and you've been like, what the fuck? Who do they think they are? Right? That kind of reaction you've had for them. Take a moment. You know, I'm a great believer, and I have had to work really hard at this in my life, to not react impulsively when things annoy you, when things upset you, when you feel your temper rising. Try your best to just take that step back. Okay, sleep on it for 24 hours. Go and do something different, you know, take your mind off it. Don't sit there and ruminate over it and play it out in your mind, you know. Go and do something. Physically move if you're able, if that's possible, to get that energy, you know, to get that rage or whatever out. And whilst it's valid, you don't want to be getting yourself into a bigger pickle than what's already happening. You know, you don't want to add fuel to the fire. You know, you want to try and diffuse the situation and look at it as logically or rationally as possible. If you can, go and speak to a friend, go and speak to somebody you trust. Just talk it out initially, and even if you can get somebody to help you, like, compile a response, you know. And sometimes things don't need a response, you know. Sometimes no response is a response. You don't have to react to absolutely everything. Okay, if it's a comment on social media, just scroll past that. You know, they're not worth your time. So that's what I'm feeling like with that Five of Wands is a base energy. Now onto the cards themselves, the cards proper. We have got the Queen of Swords. Okay, let me see. We've got the Queen of Swords here. We have got the Three of Wands. And we have got the King of Wands. Okay. So we've got an eagle and two dragons, essentially. And I think, you know, that energy that I was picking up from with the Five of Wands, what it was really saying is, and in conjunction with the Queen of Swords, you know, the Queen of Swords is very careful with her words. You know, she's very careful, she's very deliberate, and she's very mentally articulate. And she's very good at communicating her needs, her wants. And that's how I'm saying, you know, when conflict arises this week, clearly there's going to be conflict, because I'm saying that. If there is conflict that arises this week, and even conflict within yourself, you know, like you might be feeling like pressure for opposing people, you know, like, oh, you should really do this, but you're saying, no, I don't want to do that, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you need to go with the flow, and you need to go and do what everybody else is doing, and you're feeling, don't think I want to do that. You know, like maybe you just want to go and do something on your own, or go and do something that's different for what's maybe expected of you. Okay? And having that Three of Wands as well, it's like looking to see this week, looking to see where things have happened before. I'm getting this feeling where there's going to be like almost like a, for some of you, it's going to feel a bit like deja vu, okay, or Groundhog Day. It's going to feel like something has happened in the past, and it's almost like an opportunity to redo it. Okay, now bear in mind we will have Mercury retrograde coming up. I can't even remember the exact dates off the top of my head, but it is going to be happening during Pisces season. We are in Pisces season. So that's what I'm saying. So emotions might be running high, as they always are when the sun's in a water sign. Really, the feeling that I'm getting is, if this is a second chance to do something, then don't squander it. Okay? If there is a redo, if there is an opportunity to have a conversation that you never thought you would have again, you know, say what you really want to say, but use that. I think the fact that you have got now, as I look at them, right, it's like the Queen of Swords and the King of Wands. Now, I often like this combination, right, in relationships, when you get somebody that's the archetype of the Queen of Swords and the other person is like the King of Wands. I like the energies together, it's nice. But what I would suggest is, you know, that the two cards are facing each other, and so it's like they want to be agreeable. They want to have this conversation. So if you are in a position where you're trying to express what you're passionate about, it could be, you know, what you're passionate in love with. You know, we don't have to any cups, but oftentimes, you know, that aspect of the fire cards is overlooked, you know, because, oh, it's not necessarily romantic because it's not a water card, it's not emotional. But, you know, what is fire if not emotional? You know, what is passion if not emotion? So, you know, if you're trying to articulate your emotions to somebody or about something, you know, say it as clearly as possible. Use that clarity that the Queen of Swords can bring with her. And it's no that it's unemotional. It's just that there is a opportunity for things to be stated clearly. You know, and that may come in the form of, doesn't necessarily need to be verbal, you know, write a letter. You know, the art of letter writing has just been lost. And I think there's nothing nicer than receiving a handwritten letter. Kinda nice. A fancy envelope. But that's just me and my stationery thing. But this Three of Wands, you know, it's right in the centre here, and it's asking us really this week, don't squander any opportunities this week. That's the overriding thing. And maybe that's the conflict, you know, maybe it's the internal conflict of some is we've maybe feel that we've got something to say to somebody, but we're either afraid or we don't know how to say it, or we don't know how they're going to react, and maybe you're playing it round and round in your head over and over again, and you're just like, oh well, if I say that, I'm afraid that it'll maybe change the dynamic, or it'll fall on deaf ears, or what happens if they just, you know, freak out or something, you know. And it doesn't even need to be, I know I'm kind of talking as if it's like a relationship situation, or maybe a situationship you're in with somebody, but it could be like, for instance, going to your boss and asking for a promotion, you know, or asking for a pay rise. You know, we're very reluctant, you know, to ask for things that help us. You know, so if that's something that you're looking at, you know, try to convey what your needs are in an articulate manner. Okay? I don't really know where I was going with that, but that was, you know me, I just say what I, you know, just say what I get, and that's what it was. So, interesting. So, we're going to get a card from the Grief Journey Oracle, and can I just say thank you so much for the continued orders. It's so lovely. Me and Terry, we do a wee happy dance every time we get a wee ping. Okay, now here we go. And this week we have got the siblings card. Okay, and I'm actually looking, I've crossed my off as I'm very lucky, and I have the original oil painting for this one, for the siblings card. And what I would suggest is, now regardless of whether you are a sibling, you have siblings or not, there are people in our lives that they don't have to be blood relatives to feel like a sibling. You know, like there's people in my life and they refer to me as like their big sister, and I love that. You know, I love that somebody feels that they can say that about me. And so what I would say is, you know, siblings are either at each other's throats or they have a really good relationship. So somebody that you feel like is that best friend that you can ever have, you know, reach out to them with that, whatever conflict is going on. You know, it's like, you know, it could even like be, it could just be something you really, really love and cherish, and you need their help. You know, it's like, you know, some people are like best friends, and it's like they're like brothers, or they're like sisters to each other, you know. And it's a really powerful bond, because it's a chosen bond. You know, that person doesn't need to, you know that a natural sibling needs to love you, but you know, there's something really powerful in that somebody is making a choice to have that level of relationship with you, to the point where they think he is a family member, you know, they think he is a sibling. So this week, you know, reach out to the people who you love and cherish the most, to talk through things. Okay, that's your messages. And also, if you feel inclined, just go and spend some time with ponies, or watch ponies on the internet. Mini ponies, mini horses. Okay, random, but there you go. There is nothing more joyful than seeing mini ponies just bouncing about the place. Okay, my darling. So that is me. What have I got coming up? I am just nose to the grindstone with everything for the Oracles Rebellion, and thank you so much for the people who are coming from far away, or even just up the road, to the Rebellion, and online as well. It's really humbling that you have trusted me, you know, and like coming, and yeah, so that's all going well. and I will put the links in the description box, you know, if you want to find out what it is. Basically, the Oracles Rebellion is a 2-day conference in Glasgow. It's a divination conference. It isn't just tarot. There's tarot, there's astrology, there's numerology, there is Scottish shamanism. There is just a whole load of stuff. Paganism. It's just a whole plethora of wonderful things with a rebellious slant to it. We've got wonderful presenters, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and it would be amazing if you could join us. As I say, it is going to be online as well, so it's going to be streamed, and there's going to be a facility to go into breakout rooms, like when like people in person are having breaks, there's going to be an opportunity to have like a breakout room for online participants as well. So I've tried to do as much as I possibly can to recreate an in-person experience whilst in online. Okay, my sweethearts, thank you so much for watching. If you've got this far, you're amazing, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.